In the last lecture, we were at step 2, establishing development environment, and the point 8 here was to identify integrated development environment, and we identified STVD from the ST Microelectronics website. This STVD is required to be downloaded, and I hope you have downloaded it already. And point 9 was select a programmer debugger, and we selected ST-Link. It comes with STM8S Discovery. Is it hardware? And the third thing I wanted you to download was the C compiler for STM8S from a company called Cosmic. So I hope you have downloaded that also. If you have really done this, then you will see these folders. The first folder is EN-STVD-STM8. This is a zip file, and the another one is the CX-STM8 FSC STM3232K. Okay, so if you had got this and this, then all you have to do is unzip it and install. If you have done that, that is, if you have unzipped EN-STVD-STM8 and the CX-STM8 here and here, then you will see certain folders in the drive in which you have saved it. Let us go to that. In my case, I have downloaded it, unzipped and downloaded into Strontium D, my D drive. In the D drive, you'll find program files. You will also find program files x86. There you will find a folder ST Microelectronics. In this folder you will see ST toolset, and you will see here STVD, and what you have to do is you have to scroll down and you will see as you scroll down, you will come to STVD EBUG, which is STV debug. So this is what you want, and if you have properly downloaded it, then this will also appear on your desktop. So what you have to do is just click it either here or onto the desktop. That is one thing. Second thing is you have to find out the compiler. So once again, in the D drive, I have it in D drive program files 86. You will also have in program files 86. This drive may be anything for you, but you will find this folder. So go to this folder. Here you will see Cosmic. You saw ST Microelectronics already. Now you see Cosmic also. You go to Cosmic, click it, double click, and you will find CX STM8 evaluation version. I had taken evaluation version. So if you go here, then you will find HSTM8. This is what we are going to need very often, right? So remember where it is. Remember where is this? It is in program files Cosmic CXTM8 eval. You will need this information later. So going back to STVD, you move like this from here to here to here to STVD, and then scroll down to the application, and that application is here. This double click and it opens. You are seeing all this before, but now you know how it comes to your laptop. It was on my laptop and I just took you here, but now it will be on your own laptop and you'll be able to reach it the way I told you. If you have any difficulty, you can contact me. So this is how you have arrived at STVD. Here you will see file what is there in file. You have to have a new workspace or an existing workspace, etc. Edit. So as you work, you will come to know functions of all these things, and then you will develop familiarity slowly. Don't try to read everything to start with and then apply. Just keep using what you need, and then you'll be able to pick up gradually, brick after brick, brick after brick. You will create a building. So you go to File, you want to start a new workspace. You need a workspace in which you put a project, and then inside the project you have so many files and all that. So you have to have a new workspace. So you go for new workspace. Then there is a dialog box which says create workspace and project, or create empty workspace, or create from project. This is for this helps in the sense that there is already a project, and with the help of that project you create your project. So what we will do is create workspace and project. So I click it, OK. So it says tell me what is the workspace file name. So here I call it tutorial 1, and where it is, where you want to locate it. Suppose you want to locate it here itself, but in the STBD you form a new folder. What the name of that new folder can be, it is your choice. So I call it, I give my own initials, LSK1, and I say OK. The specified folder was created, so it has gone into the specified folder LSK1. OK. Then I say OK. So what you have done so far, workspace file name tutorial1, workspace location this. You want to see whether it is created or not. Yeah, LSK1 is created, as you can see. So this is the folder in which the workspace called tutorial1 will sit. OK, this is what you wanted, so OK. Then project file name, let me call it, give it some name, let me say K1. And where is its location? It will say the same place, LSK1. It will automatically go there. But now the question is toolchain. Here, as we have seen, we have downloaded STM8 from Cosmic. So this, and where was it? Now you remember where it was? It was in my case, it was in D drive. So D drive, it was in program files x86, and then it was in the Cosmic rather than in ST Microelectronics. So let us ask it to search. What I have done, don't get confused. I have not done much. I have only replaced C by D because in my case it is in D, and it has to reside in program files x86 in your case also. So up to this point fine. Then we have to locate Cosmic. So program files x86, here you find Cosmic. In the Cosmic you get XCXSTM8 eval. You click it and you say OK, this is where I will get all I need for the compilation. So this is where you say OK. So your tool chain is here. So OK. Now you have to select a device. How do you select device? You already selected one. So you just select from this. The easiest way is to write STM8S. In your case it is 003. So 003 F3P, let us say. Then select. It has come here. So you say OK. And now you have got everything. Now let us check what this K1 contains. Let me enlarge it. Now, is there any source file? See, it has automatically created two source files. One is main C. Let us see what is inside this. There is nothing, in fact. but it is a kind of a place where you can write your own main program. Now another thing is, let us maximize it. We will actually be writing programs here. Then stmat is interrupt vector. This interrupt vector, and let us not worry about it. When we look at interrupts, then I will tell you how to make use of this. It's interesting. What is the importance of interrupts? You are doing something, you are very busy, and somebody wants your attention, then that person interrupts you. If the interrupt facility is not given in a microcontroller, it will never get interrupted. It will keep doing what it was doing, right? So interrupt is important. It makes the device intelligent. So let us go back to main C. And here I pause for a moment to see what we have to do next as per our schedule. So what we have done so far, we have done 8, we have done 9, that is, you had identified and downloaded and installed STBD. You also installed a compiler, you install IDE. Now you are going to write some simple C program to develop familiarity with IDE. We have already done it once, but now the flow has started because now the IDE is functional on your PC. That is important. It has to be on your PC. You just saw how I am doing it, but now you will be doing it on your own PC. So that is the real training that will now start. So you have installed IDE, you have installed compiler, and then write a simple C program. So we'll go to this and then debug the program to understand working of debugger, all this. And so we start with the STBD, this thing. Okay. First, let us change this. It is a main file C, fine, but let me write it in the normal way. It is main.c5, and then there is no copyright anymore because it is going to be our program, not the ST program. You can here give comment like is a tutorial and so on. And then this is the program that will do nothing because there is no instruction to do anything meaningful. So what I will do is I will define variables like character, and character means a variable which can be stored in 8 bits, so it is a byte wide variable. So char a comma b, it would mean, and then semicolon, it would mean that the a and b are two variables which have the size of 8 bits, and 8 bits means the value cannot exceed 255. Okay, so a cannot be bigger than 255. It cannot be less than 0. Similarly, this cannot be less than 0 or more than 255. So it cannot be a negative number. If I make it signed character, then of course the picture is different. I hope you are familiar with the binary and hexadecimal representations of numbers. Now I also define one int. It is an integer, means it is a 16-bit number or 16-bit variable. So here I have C and D semicolon. So you have to give a space. This is the type identifier int, then there is a space, then names of variables. You need not give just single character names. Generally you will give multi-character name. The name itself should make sense. Right now here I have given it for simplicity only. So you have defined this. So type identifier, then space, then character, then the variable name, comma, another variable if there is any, and finally suppose you have n number of such variables, then at the end you have to put a semicolon. So comma between the two names and semicolon at the end of the list. So the size of this, if I do this, it would mean that whatever is coming from here to whatever I write in the same line will not be treated as a part of the program. It is called a comment. So comment means here I will write something that will comment on the meaning of A and B or something about A and B. So size is 0 to 255. Remember, this is not a part of the program. This is a part of the comment, and therefore compiler will not do anything with it. For the compiler, with semicolon, the matter ends. And these two lines, slashes, they indicate that whatever comes after this is a comment and not a part of the program. Here, let us put another comment. Size is 0 to 65,535. How? If you put it in binary, then it will look like this: 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. And here, what it will look like? This is the maximum value I am talking about. Minimum value is just 0. Control C, and here I write this and this. So it has 16 bits here and 8 bits here, right? So if you make all these ones, then it becomes 65,535. You can write it in hex also. What is the value? It is FFFF in hex. And what is this? This is FF. So friends, this is how I represent 255 in binary and in hexadecimal. So you can see the maximum value can be only this. F means this side is 1111 means F, and 1111 means another F. So FF. Here you have 4 Fs. FF. So now you know why it cannot exceed 65,535 and this cannot exceed 255. Done? Now, what I will do with these variables? Let us do something with it. So say A is equal to 34, B is equal to 56, C is equal to A plus B. So when you write these statements, you can see A equal to 34, then there has to be a semicolon. If you forget to put semicolon, then you will get error during compilation. So B is equal to 56, semicolon. C is equal to A plus B, semicolon. What does this statement really mean, or any of these statements mean? If you look at this, it means that first A and B are added and the resulting value is assigned to C. So this is not an algebraic equation in the sense that you cannot say A is equal to C minus B. Sorry, A is equal to B minus C. You cannot say that. B equal to 56 means this value on the right hand side is assigned to a variable whose name is B. And let's put D is equal to A multiplied by B. Multiplication sign is shown like a star, A and multiplied by B. So this is a program that you have written and you want to compile it. And remember, you have two options here. Either you build it for debug purpose or you build it for release purpose. Release means final. So if the program is final and you want to load it into your microcontroller, then go for release option. And if you still want that program to go and reside in the target board or the microcontroller and you want to debug it, then you select debug. So we select debug and we say, okay, let me compile it. So this main C has been modified. Would you like to save the changes? You remember what it was before? It was different. It was not like this. So it has been modified and so it is commenting that main.c has been modified. Would you like to save the changes? I say yes, I do want to. Then something will happen in this area. So it has compiled and it says 0 errors and 0 warnings. 0 errors and 0 warnings. It means we have not made any mistake here. At least syntactically there is no mistake. We may have made logical mistake, but here whatever logic we have selected is selected. That's it. Now before I can program it, before I can load it into my microcontroller, I will have to build it. F7, build it. Let us see what happens. Fine. So it has built it and this is what the result is. Now I'm going to connect the IDE. So I'm connecting the IDE, putting it into the USB socket. So it has, I will show you the picture later, but right now it is required. So because I connected it and the ST-Link has some memory in which it has stored all this information, so it has come. I don't want it just now, so I close this. I come back to this. Now I want to debug. So if you go to the left hand side, you see a capital D inside a blue circle. So if I click it, then I enter what is known as a debug mode. What will happen when I do this? Whatever happens, you will see it in this area. Come back to the lowermost window. So when I click this, look what happens in this window. So click on D, it is written start debugging, right? So click on this. It says target selected. Yeah, I have selected Swim ST-Link. You know, you have purchased it and you have connected everything in place. So okay. Now something will happen here. Yeah, it has taken very little time because the program is so small. What it has done. Let us see. Starting debug session. Come back to the lowermost window. Starting debug session. What it has done, I am showing you. Emulator is reset. So done. Opening application D, program files, macro, electronics, toolset, LSK1, debug, K1, ELF. Done. Then chip is reset. So it sends a command to reset the chip. And the application has not stopped. It is not running because you are not asked it to run. So you see these symbols now. This symbol. Go to PC. I'm not interested in that. PC means program counter. And if you look at the right hand window, you know what it is. This program which you see, you can easily understand this program. You have already understood it. But then what has happened to it? Let me reset it. This is restart application. when I do this, a equal to 34 is here, a equal to 34. It is converted into assembly language, and then it is further converted into machine language. So what the a equal to 34, which was written in C language, it appears here, a equal to 34. Then what it has done? It has converted this statement into an assembly language code, and then it has made a machine language this. You only see the assembly, not the machine code. Machine code can be seen in a slightly different way. So this is what we get eventually. See, what is the difference here and here? Here it says 0x0005, etc. And here it calls it A, because this is the location in which the variable A has been stored. This location is to be only single byte location. Why? Because variable A is just a character, and character means just 1 byte. So A will occupy 1 byte, and the address of that byte is 5. This selection of where the variable has to be stored is all done by the compiler itself. The build process eventually does this. Similarly, you see B is in location 4. It requires only 1 byte. So 1 byte has come here. Next byte is address will be 5. So you have something in 4, something in 5. So you get this assembly language statement, and which we need not see over and over again until at a later stage. So let me remove this, minimize it. So friends, what you have done is a equal to 34 here. If I go to the next step, yeah. So here we have seen what it means, restart. What it means, chip reset. You can reset the chip any number of times you want. Whenever you do this, this pointer moves to the first statement. Whenever you reset or restart, this pointer comes to the very first location in the main. In no other part of the program, but in the main, the first statement is where the program execution will start. So program execution will start here. Now I can go to the next step. This is how I can step into the program. So when I step into the program, a equal to 34 will be executed, and then the pointer after executing this will come to this location. Now what are the values of these variables you may want to verify? So for that purpose, we need to see the watch window view. Come back to the top line. First is file, second is edit, third is view. So come to view, and you say I want to view watch. Watch will show you the values of variables and names of the variables, address of the variable, all those things will be visible. So how do you, there is nothing in the variable right now, so let us put it. One simple method is to right click, bring the cursor on the variable name and right click. Then say quick watch, then say add watch. You have seen A already because you have selected A, it has come here. Then you say add watch. So you can see here A has been added. Its current value is 0 and its address is 5. You remember you have seen address of A. Address of A was 5. So this is what is here. Address of A is 5. Now let us go to the next step, and you will see this. You will see that this cursor will also move to B equal to 56 to this location. When I say go step into, it has stepped into, it has moved one step, and then it has gone to B equal to 16. This is the address here, and this is the statement. And you can see here, this is B, and its address is 4. Let us see whether it happens like this. So I want to put this also in the watch window. Quick watch, and B has appeared here, add watch. So B has come here, you can see its address is 4. And one more thing has happened. Because you moved from here to here, you executed this statement. It says A is equal to 34. What you see here is 22. This 22 is in hex. So 2 plus 16 into 2, that is 32 plus 2 is 34. This is what 34 it is here. To avoid this confusion, you may even say that I want to see this variable in decimal form. So come to A, click it, and then right click and display item in the decimal form. So you will see it has turned into decimal form. You want this also to be in the decimal form. Okay, then go here, right click, display item, decimal. So B is 0 right now because this statement is not yet executed. It has come here, but it has not executed the statement. So if I execute this statement, then what will happen? Let us execute it and see. So step into it. So B has been executed. It becomes 56. As you can see, it has become 56. Address of B is 4. Address of B is A is 5. Now, if I go to execute this statement, then here. So C equal to A plus B has been executed, and you have come to C is equal to AB, that has been executed. Therefore, the pointer has come to D is equal to A into B, right? So C address is 2, address of C. Let us check whether it is really so. So C, right click, quick watch. C has appeared here. I say add it to watch window. So C has come here, 5A. What is 5A? Its address is 2, fine, because we have seen that C, address of C is 02. Address of C is 02. So, and what is the value here? This value is 5A, that is 90. Let us verify. 4 plus 6, 56 plus 34 is 90. So it is 90. Let us put it in the decimal form. So what do? You go to the variable name, then right click. I am right clicking, which you cannot see. Wait. I go to C, right click, display item, decimal, and you see it decimal 90. So 4 plus 6, 10, carries 1, 5 plus 3 is 8, carries 1, so 9. So this is how it has worked. Now, if I ask it to go further, that is step into again, then it will perform D is equal to A into B. Let us do it. So it has done D is equal to A into B, and that's why it has come to the next statement. It has executed this. What is the address of D? Address of D is 0. Is it? Let us check. Let's go to D, and I am right clicking, which you cannot see. So I am right clicking here, right clicking, quick watch, and D has appeared here. So I say add it to the watch window, and it has come over here. Address is 0. This is the address column. Address is 0. As you can see, D, address of D is 0. It is an integer, and C was also an integer, and these two were unsigned char. Now, what is this 770? How do you know what it is? So D, and we know it a bit. Right click, display item in decimal form. So you see the value 1904. So you multiply 56 and 34, it will definitely come to 1904. Okay, so let me close this, or let me execute this also. Then what will happen? It will remain here. What you see inside is a condition. If that value of that condition is 1, then it cannot exit because there is a semicolon here. What it has to do, whatever form is between this point and this semicolon, it has to execute that. There is nothing here. So, and it is 1 means condition is always true. Condition is always true, and there is nothing to do because between this and semicolon, there is nothing, no action has been given. So it will do nothing. So let us verify whether it always remains here. So I step into it. Nothing has happened. You can see the pointer remains here. Nothing is happening. In fact, it has gone into an endless loop. It will permanently remain here. I stop it. When I stop it, I find the cursor is here. I step again into it. So it will always remain here. It has done, this was the only job it had to do, and it has done it, and it has come to an end. So friends, this is how you can debug a program. And the purpose of this building and purpose of this compilation, etc., is to eventually arrive at the code that will go into the microcontroller, and that's why it is called disassembly. They are disassembled. So the program. So what you have seen so far, you have seen how to install and run the IDE, how to carry with it the compiler. So the two things which you have downloaded, they have been put into practice, and you have seen how to create a project, how to create a workspace, how to write the programs. What is the syntax? Syntax means the way various things are arranged. That is called syntax. So just as here I have seen, it is char, a, then space, then a, then comma, then b, then semicolon. This is the syntax. You can have any number of variables here, a, b, then b1, c1, d1, or whatever name you want to give, alpha, beta, and boy, comma, girl. Whatever name you want to give, we can give. So this is what it is. You have seen how to, you have selected debug mode instead of the release mode. You have selected debug, and you are already in the debug mode. You have also seen what a watch window is. You also seen what is a disassembly is, and you have seen the relevance of the various addresses and values. So you can see here. Then the value can be displayed in so many different ways. What are the different ways? Display item either in the standard form. What is the standard form? We'll see that. Then hexadecimal form, it was already in that form. Now we have brought it to decimal, then unsigned form, and the binary form. Do you want to see what these standard and binary forms are? We'll take this variable a in standard form. So the standard form will look like this, a. This is the ASCII character. 34 represents an ASCII character, so it will show the number in decimal and then ASCII form. What about the other variable? Let us say this variable, and I want to select a different way of displaying it. In the binary form, let us say. In binary form, what does it look like? My God. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It can have a maximum of 16 characters. But if the leading characters are zeros, they will not be shown. So there are so many zeros. For example, you don't say 04, you say only 4, right? So in the same way, so many zeros were there. They are leading zeros, they are not shown. So number of characters is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It means there are 5 leading zeros. So this is the binary representation. So you can represent your data in a way in which you feel comfortable or appropriate for a particular application. So this is all about the IDE. Let us see what we wanted to do. We wanted to, this we have already done, install compiler, install IDE, then write a simple C program to develop familiarity, then debug the program to understand working of debugger, and build all to understand the release process. This I will take up later. So today, or I stop here today, and in the next lecture we'll see what it is, and perhaps I will take it along with some IO port. So thank you friends, we will meet again. Thanks.